PlotTwis, good morning.
What's up?
See,
What's
it's
up?
funny. It's funny. We told them last week that we fired Voodoo, and nobody believed us. And yeah, here we are.
Here we are. Yes, it's obviously Voodoo was on vacation with the family, went up for the get around the other family, kids' birthdays, all of that stuff. He's finally making his trek back to the promised land of Texas, and
No,
so he's in the car right now. So I get
yeah.
to stand in again. So this is perfect.
I just started working out my passport details to hopefully make my way down to the promised land of
Come
Texas at some point.
Hey, come on, man!
Uh,
I got a room for you. I live 5 minutes away from Voodoo. I got a room
yeah,
for you. It'll be good.
yeah. I'll find myself in Texas, and I'll find myself stuck in Texas, I think.
That's
So
perfect
I gotta get ready for that mentally.
if you can
But
handle the heat.
yeah, that's the thing. We were having a good conversation off camera before we got into this.
Yeah,
The big news coming out more recently is Shopify. Shopify's kind of announced that they're doing this token gate, and I listened to a incredible podcast just today. Actually, it was like 2 hour long with the Shopify guy and talking about just his vision of token gated commerce
yeah,
and the whole business of commerce and how we're already at the point where people are giving out discount codes. We were talking about it. Some people have something where you watch a live stream, and during that live stream, they'll give out a discount code, and that discount code gets you exclusive access to merch or something. Well, now we're going to implement the NFT communities
yeah.
and token gated wallet connect. You know, all of a sudden, if I have an NFT and I go on somebody's merch store, I verify my wallet, verify that I have this token, and now maybe I get a discount, or maybe I get access to exclusive products. The
Yeah,
possibilities for this are endless.
Yeah, I mean it was crazy. So obviously, I saw it first from Keep It Lunatic. He had posted something about how he had found it, or maybe through a podcast or something. But so I went on and started researching that this morning, and it's crazy. So there's only a few chains. Hopefully, they'll get Fantom listed on there as a chain. So if you're watching, maybe if you're researching this at all, let's all message the company there and tell them we want Fantom added on there. But Avalanche is one of the added ones on there. And what's cool is you're able to set it up with a token of either an ERC 721, which is obviously most NFTs right now, and but it also had ERC 20 as an option, which the ERC 20 is what our labs token is. So it adds an interesting dynamic that we could make Potluck, like Potluck Labs gear, and the only way you can get it is if you have labs in your wallet, which means you have to hold our NFTs to be able to get like this specific gear or whatever, or even like you said, at making different tiers of discounts and stuff. But I mean, it's opening up a whole new world and opening up more real world utility, right? Of real use cases of what NFTs and even ERC 20s, what they can be used for as we move forward. So I think this is huge.
Yeah, well, it's this Shopify guy was telling us about. He was talking about the NFT in New York City, and he was really high on Doodles because Doodles had set up a store that you could walk in, and it's like Disney, it's like a Disney store. It's
Yeah.
super colorful, like an incredible experience. But at the gate, if you were a Doodle holder, you would scan your NFT, and the whole place would like light up and like celebrate for you. And basically what they were talking about was like you could look at everybody on the street, their level of like curiosity at like, oh shit, like that guy just got to have like this like famous moment in front of this crowd
Yeah.
because he was the holder of an NFT. And everybody around him now got to look at that and go, oh wait, what was that about? Uh this whole token gated thing is like it goes back to the idea of commerce. It's like it's all about creating demand. And how do you create demand? Well, there's different ways to do it. Is it scarcity? Is it community? Is like there's many different ways to create demand. And I think NFTs are just an incredible way to do so. And then the idea of uh, communities collaborating, because it's easy for like any NFT project to just say, to collaborate with another project that says, hey, if you have, if you're holding one of this community's NFTs, you get access to my merch for a 15% discount, or you get exclusive access to this merch. So now you have like, it goes back into my idea of I always kind of thought that, big marketplaces, like I think Walmart one day will have a weekend sale where they'll pick 10,000 different NFT communities. And if you're part of those communities, you get a 25% discount through the store. And the amount of like attention and traffic that'll drive, like this is where I see a lot of marketing heading. And
Yeah.
I'm so excited that it's like starting to come to fruition now during the bear market. Nice.
Right. Well, and it's always one of those things, right, where the full use case of something normally isn't fully there day one, right? And we're seeing that now just because it's like so many people were like, for so long, NFTs, it's just a JPEG, right click save, right? But now if you're, like you said, not just like obviously like, we'll implement this in the Potluck Labs store with, where if you own an NFT of a different project, like a certain project, we're going to try to get t-shirts and stuff of every project up so people can do it. You only have to do that. You have to hold one. But like you said, the use case of taking that further just think what would happen if Amazon put out a thing that was like 25% discount on the website. You got to verify your wallet for all ape holders or, doodle punks or crypto punks or any of those, right? Anything like that. And all of a sudden now someone goes, dude, I've been wanting to buy XYZ. Maybe that's a bigger ticket item. Shoot, I have one of those NFTs. Let me verify my wallet. Boom. Now I'm going to save a couple $100 on whatever. Or that takes it the next step of, I could even see, to me, even like instead of being, Amazon Plus or whatever, where you get like the free shipping and all of that, whatever, I can't even remember what it's called. I have it. I can't remember what it's called.
Prime.
But Amazon Prime, there we go. But if Amazon rolled out an Amazon Prime NFT that you have to pay X amount of dollars for it. However, every time you go onto the site in your account, it verifies a wallet and you automatically get, on top of free shipping and on top of everything else, you now get a discount on goods or whatever it is, right? Or even if Amazon partnered with an NFT community and said, yeah, from here on out, anybody that holds one of think about, that's real world utility that we're not that far away from.
Yeah. Well, if I'm a big company like that, why wouldn't I do that? Like it's a chance for me to put out something, get immediate funding that then I can invest how I feel like investing as a company, to then try to bring value back again. Like it feels like it just makes sense. And we're, screaming about the electric, like the car back in the horse and buggy days. But to start to see things start to come to fruition and to be at the forefront of this and to start kind of get to brainstorm these ideas on what we can create, I think it's just so much fun.
Well, and once again, it all ties back into what you're saying, because I was watching an artist, watching like an interview or whatever with an artist and kind of saying that same thing. He was a music artist. And, a lot of times, we've had, you're a big proponent for music NFTs. I love music NFTs as well. And like trying to figure out like what brings the adoption, and basically what this artist said, it was incredible. And basically it's like a real world use case of it. But he was like, look, normally to get to where I needed to go to make the money that an artist would need, all of that, you need a record deal, right? And because they give you money up front, you sign a deal, you get a bunch of money. And he was like, but ultimately they pretty much get the streaming rights and the revenue and all of that stuff. And he was like, so he goes, moving forward, he's like, I'm an independent artist, but moving forward, all I'm doing is whenever I drop an album, every album will also come with like where you can buy an NFT. And then all of my revenue, the streaming revenue generated off of my songs, I'm going to just pass to the NFT holders. So I can put up a big batch of NFTs for sale. I will he goes, so my NFT holders become my record company. Like, my community becomes my record company. So I get the same upfront money that a record company would probably give me for my
Yep.
record or whatever. But now I pass the revenue back to the holders, which only makes my holders like me and my music more, all of those things. And it's like every single day we're seeing more and more people the light click on going, oh, I know how I can do this. I know how I can
And
use this. I know I can put the power back in my hands and I can control creative control over my music, all of these without a record label telling me what to do. I can still make money. I mean, it's crazy.
I literally just had this conversation with my sister's boyfriend yesterday, and I seen the light bulb click. I've had conversations about NFTs with my sister and her boyfriend for a year now, and it just wasn't there yet. And I seen the light bulb click yesterday because this exact conversation, I was bringing up the idea of like he's in a band, and they do little shows and stuff like
Sure.
that, but like you almost have to put together a music video to get any kind of like virality, which then starts bringing you to the next stage. And to put together a good music video is not easy to do. There's a good chunk of funding that's involved. So now, like as a band, you could then release an NFT project that gets you the funding to then actually put together the music video, which then gives you your chance at virality. Which, yeah, you don't even have to take the money off the music video. You're just looking for the views from it. You could give the money from the music video back to the holders.
Right.
Or I think about a guy like Chaskai, where Chaskai worked, he as an artist did the animation videos for people and then broke the video up into NFTs. So
Right.
that way he still got the funding for his work that he put in, but it was like a collaborative effort. This musician got an awesome animated video, and Chaskai's art got put in a music video that this
Right.
guy got views to.
And but it's like, but to me, here's where I think, right? Like big picture, right? It continues to grow and grow and grow. Because what's not to say that if I had a huge following on TikTok where I got pay per clicks on my TikTok, that I don't release an NFT project that I could sell, and then from there say, hey, 50% of all of my TikTok revenue I pass through to the NFT holders. And so you're buying into my brand or whatever it is, right? Maybe that's but I mean, I'm just thinking of all of these things where there's some form. Now, maybe they wouldn't do that because they could just keep the revenue stream themselves. But it's a way of like hey, the community is going to be a part of this with me, and I can still make a chunk of money up front, like with my. I mean, it's just the use cases. I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface of what's going to come for the use cases of NFTs and how they work and what they can be implemented as.
Well, for me, I think it's like and I might be optimistic, but I think it's a shift in like consumer mentality in terms of like we've just been berated with advertising like thrown in front of our faces, and there was no real benefit to the consumer. Like they were just shoved. Everything was, we have to watch commercials everywhere. We have to see billboards everywhere. Like you know, and there was no benefit to us. We're just buy, buy, buy. Now it's like if you want me to buy, like, well, I need you to give me a benefit. So like you have to buy into my NFT community or give my community a discount or stuff like
Yes.
that. I think there's a big benefit if you're talking about talking wealth gap. If you're talking long term in the idea of wealth gap and whatnot, if you're now your whole consumer base wants a benefit
Yeah.
from what they're buying, like now you're talking about, well, that has to lower the wealth gap because it has to become a little bit more circular of an economy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said. I mean, it's just it is because this last weekend I was having it. My family was all together, and I was talking to my brother, and I mean, that was the thing. Like we were just talking about it, and he was like, "So tell me more about NFTs, right? Not negative. He's like super positive on it. He doesn't own any. More of a tradfi, guy, and he's like, but even I can tell there's no denying that there's something going on there. And I know that it's not Like, this isn't all that they'll ever be. Like, I think, and he's like, and so I was like explaining to him, like, think about all the real world applications of how this works and how this moves forward. And like you said, it's not like, oh, NFTs are going to evolve, and what we have right now is NFTs are going to be like, okay, whatever. That was the art phase of NFTs, and now we have this. So it's the real world moving forward of, think about it. If a theme park was like, hey, you get in anybody that you scan something to verify an NFT at the gate, and your whole family gets in free that day.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, right? So now you have, people going, well, dang, if I have a freaking doodle punk, or, if I had whatever, I could get in for free. And well, shoot, there's one on the floor for $150. It's going to be $200 to get my family into the park. I might as well buy an NFT.
Wait till we have like an NFT theme park when it's like all of those big labs like cooperating, and they're just like, you know what, we're building a Disneyland, doodles and apes and goblins.
It's like becomes like a in real life metaverse type situation, right? And like, but it could be you can come to the park and you can enjoy it, and if you don't hold any of these specific NFTs, you pay to get in. But if you do own these,
you're scanning shit's lighting up as you're walking through, and like, you're getting celebrated as an NFT holder as you're walking through the park the whole time.
I mean, and maybe it's not even, and it could even be like, not even that you get in for free, but it's just like you get special community perks inside the park if you hold certain NFT collections or whatever. And so, I mean, it's like, you're trying to tell me that that's not where the future's headed? That's not, I mean, it's like, people are crazy if they think it's not. And so that's why, to me, I'm so bullish on like community building is such a huge thing that it's like, the stronger you build a community, right, the more leverage that community has. Because let's say right now we crossed the milestone of over 5,000, wallets as a Potluck Labs community. But we have the Solana launch we're doing coming up. We have the ETH launch we're doing. We start pulling in those people. Think about if we can get to 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, wallets or whatever. Well, then now you start gaining leverage to be able to do things like, going where a community can go to things like, hey, at the Toronto Raptors game, we're having a Potluck Labs whatever, and people scan their NFT and they get spotlighted on the whatever it is. I just think those things potentially are coming. The bigger you build a community, the stronger that community is, the more that becomes available to you.
100%. And during these times, like, the idea that the people at the forefront of this industry in this right now in the next couple of years, like 5 to 10 years, as almost every Web 2 and old world company kind of comes into this world, like, these people are going to be at the forefront of it. So those partnerships are going to like be things because the old world needs to tap into these already existing massive communities. Like, we talk about this on just about Twitter, like the idea of what our Twitter followings are going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, as people flock to these media platforms to try to learn about this stuff from credible sources who have been through the grind for time.
Yeah.
Like, it snowballs big time.
Well, and it was like, I was reading this book, and it was talking about like the rise of cryptocurrency and all of this stuff. And it was interesting because they said they did a research study of asking a bunch of kids and young adults, like, and they apparently do this regularly. Like, no, if you could have anything for Christmas, what's the number one gift that you would want for Christmas? And this last year, the number one requested one was Fortnite V-Bucks. So it was it was the first time that it wasn't something that was like, oh, I want cash or I want whatever. It's an imaginary currency that buys you things inside of a game that you cannot pull out and you cannot use in any way, right? It's locked in Fortnite. That's it. That's the only use case, is to buy a new Marvel hero skin in Fortnite or a new gun skin or whatever it is, right? And so, but the thing is like, the point of that was saying, like, there's a lot of these traditional businesses and traditional companies going, whether we agree with it or not, this is
This is happening.
where the generations that are moving up are going. So as money starts to transfer and people, parents, grandparents, whoever start passing away and leaving money to younger generations, where do you think that money's going to go?
Right.
It ain't going to go into the, buying gold bars. It's going to go into the metaverse. It's going to go into crypto. It's going to go into coins. It's going to go into NFTs. It's going to go into all of these things. And so the shift is happening, right? And the question is like, are you going to stick around long enough to be a part of the shift, right? Like that's just the question people got to ask themselves. We're in a bear market right now. Am I tough enough to stick it out when every single person on Twitter and everything, crypto's dead, it ain't coming back, which they've said that every time this has happened for years and years. It's like, and it's always come back, but it's like, are you tough enough to stick it out and continue and to be a part of it?
This Shopify guy on his podcast, he said something about like, when you're picking a career and like you almost, if you're picking a career where you're almost kind of like a little embarrassed or you get a little bit of fight back for what you're doing, you've picked the right one.
Right.
Uh, and that was kind of his mentality of like, there's a subculture, and that subculture becomes the culture at some point. Whether it was the hippies back in the day that culture became the culture. I wouldn't be in NFTs if it wasn't for that exact mentality. The idea that I was buying my little 12-year-old brother and 10-year-old brother Minecraft dollars and V-Bucks
Right.
every Easter, every birthday, every Christmas. Uh, and then they couldn't then, you know, ever get that value back from those skins or whatnot. And then, the idea that Vitalik created Ethereum based off that
Right.
was just like, okay, this is the thing. Like, this
Well,
is going to be the thing.
and it ties into what you were talking about yesterday when we were having a conversation of someone was playing GTA 5, right? Grand Theft Auto 5, and they made their avatar King Kong that they were
Yep.
running around with. But think about it. Eventually, these games are going to make
Yep.
that. So let's take a real world use case. Umins, if you hold an ancestral Umin, she's going to be made. They're almost done with the metaverse avatar of the Umin. So now you own the Umin, you get the 3D avatar that you can only get if you're holding the Umin, and now I can load my Umin into Grand Theft Auto. I can load my Umin into Call of Duty. I could load. So now I'm not buying a skin on Call of Duty or on Fortnite that can't be transferred anywhere. I'm buying an NFT that has resale value, all of that, but I also now have this avatar that I can use in any of these games. So instead of, hey, I'm giving you V-Bucks to buy stuff in Fortnite, we just go pick whatever character you want off of, Campfire
Yep.
or OpenSea or whatever.
Yep.
We just go buy whatever. And then now you take that and you can always resell it and you could profit off of it later and move forward with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's
This
crazy.
is a great segue. This is a great segue because Slothtopia is up and running. That is a usable metaverse. We just did our condos mint yesterday. It sold out on pre-sale.
Yeah, I didn't.
So I aped. I minted 20. I minted
You
one
should
bucket. I got
you
one
should let me
penthouse
get
and
one off of you.
yeah, I got one penthouse, one suite, and then the rest are all condos.
Right.
But so I'm already seeing that dynamic happen where if you look at all the NFT projects that exist on Fantom and AVAX, how many have usable avatars? 2 or like 3, maybe 5 in the next like couple weeks.
Right.
So all of a sudden, though, you're going to see those NFT projects kind of go nuts. But then they also feed into Slothtopia, where because their communities have avatars, and I want to use my avatar somewhere. Well, guess what? Somebody just built a spot where I can use my avatar.
Right.
And like, I can't lie, man. I'm gonna be spending a ton of time in Slothtopia because,
I mean, but
like,
think
that.
about it, right? Like let's say a huge project on Avalanche has a usable avatar, and now people are all hanging out doing stuff in Slothtopia. They pop into Slothtopia, and everyone's going, "We all have sloths, and you have whatever it is. Well, what is that?
Yeah.
Well, now it makes us go, well, if I like that skin, I mean, because that's what happens when people are playing games, right? They
Yeah.
go, oh, dang, that guy's got that. That must be a new limited edition skin. Man, I gotta go buy that. I gotta go get that or whatever, right? So now all of a sudden people go, oh, frick, like, let me go check that out. And now you go over, check out that project, go, man, that one's cool. Oh man, I'm gonna buy that avatar. Right, I'm gonna buy whatever, whether they sell the avatar separately or if they, it's you buy the NFT, you automatically get however it's set up. But I mean, it's like it makes people go, dang, I want that. Dang, I need that or whatever. And, so being able to have that, I mean, it just reinforces the community. It reinforces the secondary. It raises floors because now more people want whatever that is and want that skin. And it's just like, to me, it's like a whole world is just continuing to open up.
Well, and then just to take it further, like now you think about there's a whole generation growing up that their most meaningful experiences in their lives happened digitally.
Sure.
Like my brothers, if I were to go through my brothers, like probably biggest memories or like favorite moments, I guarantee they would list off a bunch of online ones
Yeah.
that they had. Uh, so to think that that generation isn't going to grow up like into this metaverse and keep that mentality kind of going forward, it's
Yeah.
just yeah, the future of this stuff is wild. And yeah, I got to touch on Slow Top again because
Yeah, they're sick. Actually
dude,
jumped in. So yesterday I
it's
jumped
so good.
in. I jumped into the Pinky Swear Discord, and me and Chronic Disposition. So he was running around Slothtopia, and I was just watching, and we were just chatting. I was working on some stuff for some projects we're launching, and but I just had it up, and and it was like it's just so cool to think like. I mean, he's just running around and doing this and doing that, and eventually we'll be able to, kind of implement that. And I was even like, man, I hope, like, how far can we push this, right? Because I asked him, I was like, well, can I just go visit? And he was like, yeah, I can invite you. And I was like, but at
Mhm.
some point we're gonna get to the point where what if when you load into Slothtopia, and if he's listening, maybe this is an idea, right? Like when you load into Slothtopia, you're basically in a giant room that has all these doors, and I just see Tinfoil's door, and you can decorate the outside of your door. And now I run up, I open the door, boom, I'm into your metaverse world, and I can run around and do whatever, and I don't have to be invited by you, but I can just go find you and jump in and
So
explore.
that's how Rove is set up right now.
Right,
If
right,
you yeah, so you got the Rove thing, like they have the
right,
different planets, and they have looks like a bunch of asteroids around the planet, and that's a big metaverse. You click that, and you go
right.
in, then you
Yeah,
see all the lands, and you can go into the individual lands. I think that's all coming. I
right.
know Roth and I were testing things yesterday because I was doing some building in my penthouse. I'm just gonna keep flexing my penthouse. Uh, uh, so yeah, doing some building. Sloth came in, and then I left, and he could stay in. So there is an aspect right now where
Yeah,
you can stay in if I leave,
yeah,
but you can't enter yet. Uh, but that stuff's gonna like I'm already like thinking of things like I'd like to set up one of my things as kind of Phantom NFT history
right.
because I have such a Phantom history background. Like I would love to just set up all the OG collections and
Yes.
be able to, have a day a week where I'm going to be in there and you can come ask me questions and learn about, the early days of our ecosystem. I'd like to set up one of my things for just my shit that I have on sale. Anything that I have on auction or listed, I'm going to have a gallery of just that stuff where
Well,
it's
and
like my sale showcase.
right, and it brings another interesting dynamic with that because so um when I was working messing with the Spotify or not the Spotify the Shopify stuff, it was interesting because it's not obviously fully optimized yet because I was on Fantom by accident. So when I clicked to verify my NFTs, it was like you're on the wrong chain, whatever. I clicked over to Avalanche, and then the first thing it popped up was it said, you don't hold any of these tokens. Buy one now with a
Mm-hmm.
clickable link. And when
Mm-hmm.
I clicked, I was like, I wonder what it's going to do because I had put in the NFT contract. When I clicked it, it automatically took me to OpenSea. So obviously there needs to be, but I mean, think about that. Like if you could
Yeah.
set up your store like in Slothtopia, which I think all of this is coming, and you can go on there and there can be a piece that you have for sale, and they click it, and either it does the transaction right then and there, where they can buy it, it comes off the wall, the NFT goes into their wallet, or at the very least, they could click on it or do something, right? Where it says like buy this one or view the entire collection. They click it and it takes them now to Campfire or wherever, and now they can view all of these, right? Or if Keep It Lunatic sets up his own, penthouse condo, whatever, and it's the Keep It Lunatic Museum, right? So I can go in and go, man, this is cool. But I could click on it, and yes, maybe there's 5 or 6 pieces up, but I can click on it, and now it takes me to Campfire, and there's the entire Keep It Lunatic, Bit Reapers or whatever, like on there. And I can click through so I can go, man, this art was cool. And now it takes me to, which I think that's where it's all headed. But I'm like, it's such a cool way, but it allows the social aspect to it because it's like, we could go hang out, right? Like one of my good friends, like I was talking with him, he was like, man, he's kind of introverted, kind of, that type of thing. But he had really good friends that he grew up with. And he's now, because of work and all these things, moved away. And he was like, the way I connect with my friends still is we all jump online and play whatever game together. So it's a way for him to still connect with his friends where, hey, we live in different cities. So yes, I could FaceTime you or I could jump on the phone with you, or we could all jump in and do something together, right? Something fun. And if we can all jump into a metaverse place, do whatever, but now you're doing it in areas where now your NFTs are on display and like all this stuff. And that can, build the community more. And you invite friends over to your hang out in your stuff and they're going, man, what is that? Like, oh man, that's a cool NFT, man. I've never seen anything like that. Yeah. And it's just, it opens up so much for the NFT community that it's crazy.
Yeah. No, it is. I'm super excited for what's coming. But let's jump into our topics.
Let's do it.
All right. What is minting? So I've got again, everybody's got to check out the Fantom Watch website. What the Fantom Watch team has put together is just incredible. It's such a good resource for finding out what's minting soon, what is minting now, everything. Artist profiles, you name it. They even have rarity stuff now. It's awesome. So minting soon, if you take a look at the website, I seen Visionarium Premium. So Phantom Boy Visionary Boy is building essentially like a social media NFT platform. So another bullish fucking use case.
Yeah.
But the idea of a Web3 social media platform that like fully integrates NFTs. He's working on that. I know if you hold some of his pieces, he's got a vision token that's coming. This premier NFT comes with a big bag of vision tokens and a bunch of other perks to the coming social media platform. I'm unbelievably bullish on that team. So yeah, Visionarium is minting soon.
Yep.
We got Bonono, which I'm so excited for because he has been working so hard on this project. He's just a detail freak.
Yeah.
And the quality of his work, like I have 2 pieces of Bononos that like I don't think will ever leave my wallet. The one is I got a Tomb Heads one collab that's awesome, and then I've got one of his like classic Bonono pictures.
Yeah.
But this the Roboto collection that's coming, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of what I wanted out of like projects like a Mecha and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like when I thought about like 3D work, yeah, he's nuts.
Yeah. I mean, it literally is like the detail on it is like crazy. So I'm fired up about that for sure. Yeah.
And I think we're doing a pretty tight supply on that one too. It's not going to be a very large mint.
No, I mean I mean with the level of detail we were, we wanted it to be a little bit of a smaller collection. Just thinking like, man, the detail level of this is unreal. So yes, a smaller supply. It's the Roboto, which that is going to be minting on Saturday at our normal 7 p.m.
Actually, I think this is an interesting point to bring up. Actually, it's off topic, but for projects that are creating creating art or creating projects, and they're looking at picking their mint supplies.
Hmm.
Um, it's almost as like if the more detail that's in the art, the harder they are to differentiate each other
Yes.
over larger supplies.
Yes.
We've seen this with a couple of our mints before, like art that I truly really love, uh, but because there's so many minor details in it, when you're just looking through a big collection on Campfire or whatever, there's some similarities that you can't dive into too much. Um, so I just think that's a good tip for people to, if you're going really detailed, uh, think about going with a smaller supply because
Yeah.
that's typically what we've found so far is that the more detailed projects do over a big scale kind of start to blend a little bit.
Yeah. No, that's
Whereas like something simple like the beans,
yeah.
like
It's
they all they stand out so much from each
yeah.
other,
Yeah.
but they're so simple. Like it's wild to me.
Yes, totally agree. The other thing that I saw that I know is minting right now over on Campfire is the Ghost Kitten collection by King of Frame. He's got that minting on AVAX, so that's something, some fun pixel art. If people are looking for that over on in the AVAX realm.
Yeah, I've got another minting soon. I seen Trippy Steve and the like
Yeah, the Moon
who
Dow,
runs the Moon Masters DAO. They've got
Yeah.
a mint coming up. That's an awesome community. So I imagine that that's really really well.
And that's another one that's going to be a low supply. I'm looking at it right now. 500 is the supply on that, so that's going to be a smaller supply. But it's like, I mean, and it's one of those things. It's Trippy Steve. I mean, some solid community member. Somebody we can definitely support, and I think we should support and get behind. But that one's going to be a good one for sure.
A couple other mints that I really like right now. I think are underrated. Egg Emporium is currently minting, and I think is just an unbelievable project. I know my egg and box have been shipped. Voodoo's is amazing.
The
Uh,
detail on it is next level.
yeah, for 250 Phantom, like I thought that was a good price when Phantom was fucking 250, and now Phantom's 25 cents. So yeah, I'm all over the eggs. Um, Fallacy Verse. They reached out to me a while ago. They've been doing a lot of work. They're building like a metaverse. Um, they're kind of building their own little metaverse thing, similar to Slothopia, but yeah, I think we're sleeping on them a little bit. So I wanted to mention them. On the AVAX side of things, is it the Degenerates from the Cloudheads team?
No, from client, it's the Degen Addictions.
The Degen Addictions.
Yeah, Degen
Those things,
Addictions.
yeah.
Yeah,
So they're currently minting on the AVAX side.
and Phantom side, they have a small supply on Phantom that
Right.
I think is close to 50% minted. 64% minted on Phantom and 46% minted on AVAX. But yeah, the Degen's Addictions from the Cloudheads team.
Yeah, and I mean I can't speak highly enough about Chicken Whale God and Mr. Wonderland, the guys behind that team. And I mean
Unbelievable.
they're a part of our Potluck family. Yeah, can't speak enough about them. The other one, Avax Machina. That's Freud's art
Yes.
on the AVAX side of things. Incredible. I love that team behind it. So yeah, again going back to the bet on people. Freud and the guys running that project are people that I want to bet on.
Yes.
I guess we'll run into underrateds.
Yeah, I clicked over to it because you had said somewhat of an underrated project, so I just
Yeah,
figured
it's
it was a
okay
good
because
flow.
they all kind of mix because some of the underrated are still currently minting.
Yeah.
Um, like the Pop Scullies, the cult is obviously real strong. Pop Scullies are minting. I know they're doing a bunch of different NFT burn mechanisms for
Yeah.
Ghostlies. So
Uh-huh.
I think the focus right now is on minting Pop Scullies and then doing some ecosystem burning to get the Ghostlies collection distributed. So yeah, that's an awesome opportunity to join a great community. Um, Pocket Pals, I think, is just doing unbelievable things. I'm so happy I have a shit ton of Pocket Pals. Uh, the skins that they're putting out
Yeah,
are incredible.
crazy.
So like, one, it's like awesome utility. Now they've implementing incredible art from just our favorite artists around the whole ecosystem. Yeah, I can't speak highly enough about that team. Uh, Another underrated, the beans, man. I think the beans, like the beans are taking over. You can stake them, or like you can
Yes.
earn labs on the Fantom side and AVAX side. You can stake them on Campfire as
Yeah, to
part of earning the
earn
1%
AVAX,
of
yeah, earn
AVAX.
AVAX and WAVAX. Yeah, that's you. And what's even bigger about that, now you can't have them listed for sale, but it's non-custodial staking, which is huge. It stays in your wallet, and it's just tracked, and that's how you get the rewards. But it doesn't even
Like,
have to come out of your wallet.
it's genius. And it can't be listed because that's the thing with staking. So that is like, to be honest, the whole like part of the mentality behind staking is it removes it from the market.
Right.
So it cuts the supply on market, which is good for the thing, right? Where now it's like that's the one thing I didn't like about staking is the fact that it's not in my wallet. Well,
Right.
now I get to keep it, and it's still reading that like it can't be on the market. So it's a win-win. Like unbelievable. That's a huge step forward.
Yep. Yep. I totally
Uh,
agree.
yeah, I mean, fucking Campfire, underrated project, to say the least. So get your beans and stake your beans in Campfire because this marketplace is going to be fucking massive.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which I just saw they did something crazy, which was they built an aggregator for the like chicken rooster, all of that, because you know how all those projects have their own exclusive like
Marketplaces.
marketplaces. You can buy them
Yep,
on Campfire now.
yep, yep. Yeah, it's like an aggregator.
So it's like what's that's crazy that like you can see all of that and get that information there in camp. Like, I mean, it's just like the moves that are being made are crazy.
Yeah, no, it is wild. Um, Another underrated guy I want to mention. I got to mention Aspenth. So
Yes.
Aspenth is putting together an incredible documentary. What's it called? JPEGs Against Humanity. He's been filming some awesome stuff. Many of the different events across Fantom and NFTs.
Voodoo's
Yeah,
the
and
poster child model for it, right? You
right,
posted
right.
me where it's Voodoo's face. I make like a 1 second appearance in it at the South by Southwest in the trailer. But yes, if people have not, everyone needs to go on to like Aspenth on Twitter, all of that, and go vote for his documentary because he's trying to get a grant. Hopefully, we'll get grant money for it to finish it off and do all. And it's, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's better than most documentaries I've seen on Netflix and stuff like that. And so, if people go on and vote, because he's not number one right now, like in total, but he's tied for like the number of votes or something like that. I was reading.
Yeah, yeah, he's up there.
So,
But yeah, so and if you don't vote to get him grant money, you can get him grant money by supporting his NFT projects.
right.
Via Contagions is currently minting. His Spiritopoli project is minting, which I think is one of the coolest NFT projects that we have
Yeah.
so far. The idea that he's trying to build out a fully rendered 3D Monopoly game, I think is wild.
Yeah. The guy's a mad genius scientist. Like I don't know how he does it all, but it's amazing.
My other underrated, or my last one, is the Goblins track from Illuminati Congo. So that was kind of minted around the same time as the Bit Goblins
Yep.
from Tombhead.
Yep.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, awesome track, but the idea that he will kind of wants to use this as kind of like that token gate to an incredible artist in future airdrops, and I know he's working on a ton of stuff with so many different people, guys on stage every weekend doing concerts and shit. Like
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. I mean, because it's like you take this technology and it is one of those things where it's like you can. Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy.
So yeah, and I know he's talked about like you want to own goblins for his stuff. So I still think at the supply of that goblin song and whatnot as an access token, like just
Yeah.
super underrated.
Yep.
All right, let's run to artist spotlight.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So I got a couple. I got a couple on Phyrexis. I want to spotlight Phyrexis because I think he's just absolutely killing it. So one, I think he's getting better and better with his stuff,
Yes,
but
he's awesome.
he sells out everything instantly on AVAX. He's still releasing collections on Fantom, and I see them. They're starting to gain some steam, but I think it's incredible work that just the Fantom community hasn't quite picked up on yet. Uh,
Yeah, I'm a little upset that I don't and didn't have any of his meta cards on Phantom. So I did not get the
the
airdrop
Bean card,
of the bean card. And I'm a little upset because I'm
yeah,
like, I gotta have all the beans. So I
I
need to
know.
go look to see if there's any of those on secondary, because if somebody listed it for secondary, I'm probably scooping it. So um, yeah.
Yeah. So again, I mean, that's a great point. I was one of the beneficiaries of an airdrop from Phyrexis of an awesome Beans card, and yeah, I just think that stuff's awesome. Uh, another artist, I love Tunch. Tunch Certus from Avax. He's got his Roots collection coming with us and Illuminati Congo. I've been seeing the previews for it in the chat. I think it's just incredible. I'm so excited. The
Yeah.
way Congo's been talking about the music behind it gets me real excited. But yeah, I love the energy and the passion that that dude brings into every room that he walks into, um, and the art and the meaning behind it all. Like I'm a bit of a hippie at heart, so like I think I like the shamanic shit. So I think
Kindred
yeah, I
spirits.
just think yeah, he's huge. And then on the Phantom side of things, I've got two of our Potluck artists I want to highlight. Danetron, I just think is one of these guys that's just on a level
Of his
that
own.
not many people are on. Um, yeah, that's a guy that I have to bet on. Just in terms of his style and everything, I would love to see that guy get as much support as possible to see what he can build with support.
Yeah.
Uh, and then Black Cat Dead, man, I just
Wow.
think his color palette and his style, like, is so cool. That whole Muke collection has just, I think, gotten better and better. Uh, and then the collection that he did with us, I just think is unbelievably underrated.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot. I've recently started seeing, I mean, obviously now that the staking pool ended, a lot of pretty decent sales, not where they should be, but pretty decent sales on the Black Cat on the Cyber Fantomics. And man, that's one that I got to get him to make the design for the holder only t-shirt, because that would be
Yeah,
a sick shirt with those colors. Like, so I'm gonna need to message him today and be like, hey, I need you to make something for the Cyber Fantomic for a shirt, because that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, he's unreal.
yeah, it's been crazy. I guess we should highlight. L did another awesome drop of those what are they, riot clowns or riot creeps, or
It,
I forget what they
Creepy
were called.
ghouls, or is that what it is? Creepy ghoul? What is it?
No, maybe creepy ghouls. Yeah, maybe you're right.
Let me.
Um, anyways, that was a really like exclusive drop. Again, a free one that nobody knew was coming. She just dropped it on people, just dropping value on
and
people.
and it ties into something that I think is really cool, because the way that you got it dropped was if you owned a cursed circus and your cursed circus's cause of death was something ghoul related. So
Ah, interesting.
So it's a very cool dynamic of communities building together. And to me, I think that's what I like love is like, it's interesting because you'll remember this. We had a conversation. I won't name any names, but we had a conversation with a collection on AVAX. And this was back in our beginning stages of going over to AVAX. And we were asking, and we were talking about, hey, we have our NFT alpha show and all this stuff. And they had said, well, we tried to do that, but we stopped because our holders got mad that we would talk about and promote other projects that weren't just ours, because that they thought that meant people were going to go buy those other projects and not buy our project. So the whole thing just kind of fell apart. And I was like, man, like there's that sense of tribalism, I think is hurtful, because what I'm thinking is like they found a way to not say like, man, it was like, no, Cursed Circus, ghouls, like let's figure out ways
Yeah.
to integrate the community. Let's figure out ways to come together and cross pollinate, because it's like it's not if they win I lose. It's, hey, we can all win together. And I think that was like one of those perfect examples of when one team is winning, another team can win as well, and we can both win together. Because now it's like, well, shoot, like I need a whole, like, what's L going to drop next? Like what project, like, and it makes this sense of, I have to hold these NFTs because I don't know what's coming next.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and it's like, so it's really cool. So shout out to Elle for doing that. I mean, we've said she's just, I think she's an icon in this space and will be an icon for as long as she decides to stick around, in my opinion, which hopefully is very long. I believe it probably will be, but yeah.
And this is one of those things where, like, I think about back to, little brothers growing up and kind of what they're into,
Yeah.
and seeing the trends. I'm not a big pixel art fan at all. I'm not that big into the pixel art at all. But the idea of that next generation, what they're growing up with in video games and what they're attracted to. I have my little 12-year-old brother standing over my shoulder, like bugging me all weekend at the trailer, like show me my NFTs and whatnot. And the one that stood out to him out of all my fucking NFT collection was a tiny frog from the FTM Frog Quarrying collection,
Yeah.
which it's got to be 12 pixels.
It's
And he was just like, dude, that's the one.
Well, and you think about it, our generation growing up, we grew up with everything being pixel and progressing to like super awesome 3D, like better graphics and all this stuff. And now it's like reverting back, where it's like the cool thing now is that, I mean, but it's just, it's always just like a very interesting dynamic for sure.
Yeah. So even like in my personal view, like I think her art style is going to be massive as pixel art continues to just grow and boom,
Yes.
and regular, and like that next generation grows up getting into NFTs.
It's crazy. All right. Well, coming in here to the finish line, we got Labs Projects. And obviously we already hit on Roboto, but I mean, we got a big one tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah, this has been so long in the works. Man, Fantomized was one of like the first AI projects that I got into. It was the spectaculars that they had.
Yeah.
I minted a whole bunch, and then they came out with, I believe it was Phantom Gates after that, and I
No.
got a discount.
Wait, which
Or
one was the one? Did they do? No. Okay, never mind. I'm thinking of something. You're right. Yeah.
so I think it was Gates after that, and then
They airdropped the
I got
Christmas ones.
I got a discount to mint that, which was for holding a spectacular, which was awesome. Then they minted the Patronus, which is an incredible collection. I got like airdropped a few of them, and
Yeah.
then I think I minted a few more.
And there was like that Christmas drop, because I got one for having a Phantom Gate, or I got like 2 or 3 of them, because there was like a Christmas collection that they airdropped for holding the Phantom Gates. And then,
Right.
and then they had the Patronus.
So then they just minted out a collection with Noah, the Shrines of Eidolon.
Yeah.
But they've been curating this collection of what are we calling them? What are we
What are we
calling them?
calling them? The Ghoulish
Yeah,
Divas.
the Ghoulish Divas.
Yes.
Yeah, they've been curating this collection of like one of one pieces for what, 4 months now?
Yeah, it's been a while. And here's what's pretty crazy. So we just got more stuff. And there's going to be, this is kind of the alpha section, right? We got to drop a little bit of alpha. The metadata is kind of crazy on these. So they're not like numbered like Ghoulish 1, Ghoulish 2. Like every single one of them is named. So they each have like a woman's name. And here's the thing. Half the diva, there's like a portion of the divas that are good. And then there's a portion of the divas that are evil. And then there's certain legendary ones that are good and evil. And they can kind of go either way. And they have all these different, there's like different powers that they have, like Flora, the Enchantress, the Necromancer Creep, the Metamorph, the Oracle, the Pyro, the Fairy. Some of them have power boosters. The Bloodis, the Moonis. I mean, like, so all I'm saying is there's probably some good things that can happen moving forward based off of what the metadata is of
Mhm.
the diva. So it's gonna be interesting because there's only 733 of them,
Yeah, this is a really tight collection. We haven't
and
done a supply this small in a little bit.
so it's a small supply, right? It's a small supply, so it's like 400, I think, on Fantom and 333 on AVAX or something like that. Which almost every one of our project has sold at least that many in whitelist.
Yeah.
So you still, I believe, have time to go on and buy a whitelist spot on the Potluck Labs. So potluck-labs.com. Go to the lab store. I think there's still time to buy a whitelist spot for it because I have a feeling this is probably going to sell out during whitelist.
Yeah, I'm thinking so as well. So what are the numbers again? It's 65 Phantom, point 0.9 AVAX,
Yes, 65 Fantom, zero point 0.9 AVAX is
and
what
there's
the.
only going to be about 600 up to mint.
Yeah, and there's only like 600 available to mint because obviously we have the Potluck Platinum Pass holders. Fantom they're have some to give out that they're giving out to some of their holders, and then anybody that holds a Fantomized project, you get a whitelist for your Fantom Gate or your Spectacular, all of that. You get whitelist. They all get whitelisted for that. Potluck Labs, if you have a Platinum Pass, you're whitelisted. Or you can go on and buy them. And so, I mean, think about it. If we have 400 and I think there's like 150 that, or not 150, 100 or something like that are, for Platinum Pass or Ultimate Pass holders and all of that. That means really we're looking at about 300 on each chain that's up for grabs.
Yeah. Yeah, this is and these are all one of ones.
And they're all one of
So,
ones. Every single one is a
yeah.
one of one.
Yeah.
So it's like I was like going through the collection, looking at all of them, just being like, this thing is crazy. This is and I'll be upfront with
Yeah,
you. I'll be
talk about variety.
I'm not the biggest AI art fan, like just from the like visually. That's never been my thing, but I love these. Like I love them.
Well,
Like
so this is the thing that I like. What I really like about the Phantomized team is that I think what they've done with their AI is incredible
I agree.
because they've got their own style. I think you can almost look at each one of their collections, distinguish it differently than any other AI
Yes.
that we've seen, and also kind of realize that it's the same AI. Yet they're all like completely different
It
collections. They just still have that same style. And I think to have an AI do that is kind of wild because
it
that's what
is.
I like out of an artist.
Yeah, it is crazy because you do like that characteristic. Like I can look at this and know that's a Danetron. I can look at
Yeah,
any piece and go, that's a Septa. I know that from anywhere. And you can do the same thing with Phantomized. And like I said, it's not that it's never been like that's never been my my style of art that I really like. But I really like Phantomized the style of their work. I think it's awesome.
well, it's funny. Like out of the collections they've launched so far, man, that's tough. I think the Patronus is probably my favorite so far.
Yeah, those ones are pretty
Um,
cool. I'm not gonna lie,
like
those ones are pretty cool.
I really, yeah, they're all so interesting. But it's funny. The Spectacular is the only one that like was very different than their current styling.
Correct.
Uh, it's awesome. Uh, yeah, and then Bonono is on Saturday.
Bonono's on Saturday, and like I think these are two back-to-back heavy hitters. Like if you're serious, like I'm gonna be hopefully minting a Ghoulish Diva and a Bonono, and those are ones I'm minting. They're going into the wallet and never
Yeah,
worrying about them again. I'm not selling them. I'm not listing them. Like they're going into the wallet and they're staying there. Both of these collections for me.
yeah, yeah. And then, but the Bonono numbers are we got 888 in
Yeah.
total
Yep.
at again 65 Phantom, point 0.9 AVAX.
Yep.
And again, that one I think is just gonna go crazy. It's another artist that came through Tombhead's auction house, doing one of one work that was just mind blowing. Again, I've got a piece that I will never get rid of from him. Um, yeah, I'm excited to see this collection. Both of these collections are just insane, and
Yeah.
two completely different styles and stuff that we haven't really done yet, which
Mm-mm.
is awesome,
Yeah, it's crazy.
dude.
Yeah.
Big things coming. But I gotta say one more time, like I have to give just endless love to Campfire. Um,
Yes.
Dude, the fact that the beans came out of nowhere from teens and moonbags, and then that project just takes over the network. We've done what, 2,000 AVAX now traded almost.
It's
Um,
every time I look at it, it's jumped
like
astronomically.
it's insane. And then now you can stake them, which I think is hilarious because I honestly thought that there was another art collection dropping. I thought we were going to be doing another free mint of like acid stakes. Uh, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh no, it's a play. You can stake them for the 1% of Campfire's fees. Like, which I
Right.
just that's crazy,
Yeah,
crazy to me.
it's
So
yeah, they've just been innovating, they've been changing. And the other thing that I love too is how willing and quick they are on feedback. Right? There's
yeah,
been multiple things that people have given feedback on and boom, they've like, "Hey, yep, we're getting that switched, we're updating that." And they've rolled some of those things out. Some of the things take time to get on,
yeah,
and but they're like, man, we're hustling to get this done. And I think Moonbags and Jay Hughes are just
yeah.
not sleeping, I don't think, and just working 24/7 because at the rate they're pumping out updates and adjusting things and getting things up. I mean, it's
And I,
insane.
I gotta say, if you're an artist, uh, have a conversation with Josh because like he
Yeah.
is very, very trained in like the traditional like art world.
Yes.
So he's a great guy as an artist to have a conversation with. I've been learning a lot about art as a collector from him.
Yep. Yep. It's nuts. So,
Anyways,
all right.
awesome.
Well, I think
Killed it
we
again, sir.
I think we did it. We covered it. Looks,
Dude,
next
dude,
week.
massive things coming, dude.
I know it's
Massive things
huge.
coming.
We might have Voodoo back next week. Maybe we'll see what
Yeah, maybe.
happens. But but
Oh,
yeah.
I have to,
Well,
before we leave, everybody, make sure you're checking out our Discord on like a daily, bi-daily basis because I've been doing a lot more token holders giveaways.
yep.
And we've got 5,000 wallets, and I've only been seeing like 100 to 200 people participating in the giveaways. So you're missing out on a huge opportunity if you're not checking in on our Discord.
Yep. So check it out. Jump in the Discord. Like this video or this stream. Share it. Shout out everybody. Follow Potluck Protocol. Man, we got such big things coming, and to me, like we just talk about it all the time, man. Our vision is so huge for where we're going, and what we're building, and we're not gonna let up until this community is massively winning across the board. So we love y'all and we appreciate y'all. So I guess Tinfoil.
Ciao, ciao. No, that's
All
it.
right, we're out. Y'all have a good one. Catch you next week.